What do you got for number 5, Zach?
Well, for number 5, and I want to go ahead and sharing my screen. I don't see it.
Yeah, you are.
There we go.
I think you are.
All right. So as I kind of advertised in my kind of trailer video on my channel, I went to look at some of the best games that I scored that I've played so far this year. I've already played over 50 indie games in 2016, and there's 20 games that I saw that I easily would give an 80% or better score to. And that list of games comes here. 20 games here, starting with my most recent, all the way back to one of the first games I played in early January, The Sad Story of Emmeline Burns, which is a free game. So these 2 games in pink, by the way, are free games that you guys can play for free. This is forever. I believe that's on Game Jolt. And The Sad Story of Emmeline Burns. If you guys want to see a detailed review and video gameplay of any of these games, simply look them up on my channel. Simply put Zaxter99, the name of the game, and it should be the first one that pops up. But from this list of 20 games, you also notice that I have all the green check marks are visual novel games, games that are kind of have a story to them and are more of a visual novel than they are like an RPG or an action game or whatever. So as you can see, I like quite a bit of those kind of games as well. But my first game, guys, that comes in at number 5 from that list is actually The Dragon Cancer. So I'm simply going to look up video that I've done on these games since I have videos on my channel for all these games. I'll simply look up the video footage that I did back 4 months ago for The Dragon Cancer. That was back in January. And real quick here, you want to show you how popular I am. I did this video 4 months ago. I have 148 views. PewDiePie has done this game 2 months ago and has almost 4 million views. Yeah, I'm a killer on YouTube, I tell you what.
All right. So this is number 5, That Dragon Cancer.
The Dragon Cancer, yeah, this is a intriguing game, and I heard about it like a year before I played it, simply because this is a game that was kind of built and inspired by a guy who had a young boy that was come down with that was diagnosed with a terminal cancer, and so he kind of wrote a story about his boy here, and how do you make him laugh, and he just talks about kind of his feelings and his experiences with his child while he grew up with this boy, and you kind of take the role of walking through his life and his years and his experiences and kind of his nightmares, his emotions with his wife, and how things got really hard as he dealt with, like, you can imagine like having a child, even the first child you have with your wife, that can be really kind of a hardship sometimes. I mean, when the baby gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning, who gets up to change their diaper or to give them their formula, whatever it is? Can you imagine having a young baby with all these different elements? And he also had a older brother that didn't really understand what was going on as well. So this game, I think it's typically about an hour and a half to 2 hours, though PewDiePie rushed through it in like an hour. I, again, don't know how some of these YouTubers rush through some of these games so quickly. It's like they're in a rush to get to the end. And but, I mean, this goes through the whole thing of them talking to the doctors about the cancer and how they felt, and, how even like his wife, it talks about his wife's perspective and how she was cursing God and religion and her faith and everything, and it really takes you through even video games and stuff like that. It's a really good game. It's a really cool experience, and I think I thought the game was going to be a little bit better when I read about it last year than it was. Even though it was a really good game, I think I expected a little bit more from it, and that's really why it didn't make a higher ranking, but it still comes in at number 5 so far in 2016 for me. So you can get it on Steam, and the link is on my video in the description, or you can simply go to Steam. So for my number 4 game, out of all the games that I did, we actually look at my list of games here, and we go through the Dragon Cancer, one of the games I played way back in January. We look at the list of games here, and you're wondering what's next. Well, what's my number 4 game? And I tell you, it was really hard to start picking these games from all these games, because a lot of them in their own ways were really, really good. And this is what I'm talking about with indie games. There's just so many choices. And I bet you I haven't even played half the games this year that have come out that I would really like. But making that determination and trying to put an order to these games, I have to go and put my number 4 game at Unreal World. Now, one of the things I like about this game is, if you look here on a couple of the videos that I did, this game does not awe you with, amazing graphics. This is real simple, real simple graphics, mostly text telling you what's going on. You do hear a few simple sound effects, but look at all these skills and lure and everything involved with this game. Now, people, this is a game that the developers put 29 years into making it. 29 years of their heart and soul of research and developing and making realistic maps and conditions and weather and all these different conditions, and putting tribes in where you can go in and you can pick in any of these different scenarios that you want to pick. So if you're really looking for a game that's in depth, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to find any kind of game. I don't care where it is. I don't care if you're talking about one of the old Ultima games or one of the old BioWare games or whatever. You're going to be hard-pressed to find an RPG that's going to give you this amount of depth. And then when you look at the realism that you're going to see in this game, you're not going to find zombies and skeletons and dragons and stuff like that. This is all survival in the forest. You against Mother Nature, you against enemies like tribes and stuff like that, and you play this out at your own pace. You make realistic decisions on what you want to wear, what you want to equip, what you can carry with you. Everything has a weight. Every choice you make matters. You face weather conditions, you face blizzards, you face rain, you face night and day. You can build stuff, you can cut down trees. Look at all these different commands and everything that's available to you as you progress through the menu. And the UI is really well laid out as well. So, and when you look at the game, you can only see in one direction, and you can spin that around as you look around. For example, you can only see the trees in front of you when you actually look in that direction. I just love this game, and I think if you're looking for a game that's in-depth, that's going to give you a rewarding experience in a different game each and every time you play it, Unreal World is the way to go, especially if you like realistic kind of adventures. So you can check out my videos, again, on my channel for Unreal World. The link for these games will be in Kage's description. And what do you guys think about games like this? Mello, Kage?
Did you say that this game was in development for 29 years?
29 years in the making, yes.
Wow. And people only seem to care about Duke Nukem Forever, which took 15.
Yeah.
And they like to complain about how bad it was when it was originally released.
Well, this doesn't look like it would be too bad. It's not something that I'm necessarily gonna. It's not something I would necessarily dash out and buy unless I was like really curious or got it for free. Of course, Mello's still watching my stream because he's not actually at his computer.
All right, not a problem. So we're going to go ahead and jump this. Again, we're going to jump back to my list, guys. Again, with out of these 20 games that I think I could easily give an 80% or better to, all these games, Unreal World is off the list now. That came in at number 4. And then coming in at number 5 was the Dragon Cancer. So we look here for my number 3 game out of all these games and choices. This game might surprise you, Kage. I don't even know if you've heard of this one, but this game just might surprise you as a number 3 pick for 2016 so far, and that is Pause, Shelter 2. Now, for all the hype, and I had never even heard of this game when it came out. I mean, it hit Steam out of the blue. I had never, knew it was coming or anything like that. You compare that to a game like Firewatch, which had all the hype in the world, was hyped up like crazy all last fall. It came out in, I think, February or whatever. And Firewatch, while it being a good game, having good graphics and everything, was fun, and I liked it. I hated the ending for Firewatch for that kind of a game. And Pause, Shelter 2 comes in not long after that and tells a absolutely adorable story of a baby lynx where you take control of this baby lynx, trying to stay together, trying to find your mom. You end up getting lost from your mom and one of your siblings, and you're a little baby lynx with all the dangers that is in the wilderness.
Oh, yeah.
And this game will warm your heart. It will touch your soul. And the ending to this game will absolutely the ending to this game put tears in my eyes. And like I say, this game came out of nowhere, and where I was expecting games like Firewatch to deliver the goods for all its hype, It just didn't. This game comes out of nowhere, not only warms my heart, makes me smile, but also puts tears in my eyes at the end. An amazing story with Paw, Shelter 2, my number 3 best game of 2016 so far, and I wouldn't be surprised if this game made my top 5 at the end of this year as well. It is that good. If you guys, go ahead.
It'll probably be a top 10 actually. We'll see. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good game, and like I say, I just like it when games come up. It's a nice surprise. So definitely, if you guys want to check out, if you guys want to spoil it, you don't want to buy the game, check out my video, my playthrough.
Yeah, you got a bandwidth issue, dude, or something. Hello?
At least, if you're playing it.
Hello? Yeah, your mic's chopping, dude. Your mic's chopping.
We're up to our number 2 for both of us.
You are starting number 2.
Yep, number 2 for all 3 of us now. We've got 10 of our 15 games we talked about, and we are up to our top 2. So if I look at my list here, guys, and I'm looking for my second best game of 2016, I look through here, and this game may surprise you as being a number 2, Kage. But if I look for my number 2 game of the year, I'm looking at The Culling. This is a
This actually does not surprise me, Mr. Dexter.
Okay.
I figured it was going to be first or second, one way or the other.
I figured you would think it was going to be number 1. Nah. This game is definitely a PvP-oriented game, so if you're not a brutal, savage PvP kind of guy, this game may not be for you. Here I'm in a spectator mode after I already got killed in my first game that I ever played of The Culling, and I'm kind of watching how it's done. You have blue machines which recycle items that you can find in the game. They give you what they call funk, which is really cool, F-U-N-C. They actually have a term for that. Something about universal necro matter or something, I don't know. And anyway, what it is your money in the game, and you can use that money to do like loot drops, and you can set up whatever you want your loot drop to be before the game, before the matches. The nice thing about this game is each match is only about 15 to 25 minutes in length, so you're never going to be playing a game that just goes on and on and on like some of the other PvP online games such as Rust or Hurt World or whatever, which, as you know, can go on for many hours and involve base building and all that stuff. This is just more condensed PvP fighting, and the fight mechanics and everything are really well done. And for an early access game that's only $15, I am very impressed by not only the value of this game, but also the complexity of the fight mechanics and everything involved. If you're a hardcore PvPer that likes to take it out against other online opponents, this is a game that's going to be right up your alley, and a game that I think is worth at least twice the asking price at $15 US right now. So if you're looking at getting in on this game, I would definitely advise getting in on now while it's $15, because the price will probably go up as the game goes through further development. So The Culling, my number 2. All right, guys, before I actually get on, there we go. So before I actually get on to my number 1 game on my list, I want to go ahead and give you guys a news update that just came to my phone. That's what you heard just a minute ago, Kage. Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest boxers of all time, a guy that I think anybody can respect, just died moments ago.
Oh, wow. That's not fun.
He was in a Phoenix area hospital. He had been dealing with 32-year battle of Parkinson's disease, and we know Parkinson's disease has taken a lot of big people and taken their life. A 3-time world heavyweight champion died just moments ago. So I want to go ahead and send out our prayers to his family and all the fans and people who loved him over the years. That is a big name that's just died tonight, a big icon in boxing for sure. And again, hearts and prayers going out to the family and friends and everybody who has deep cares for Mr. Ali. So let's go ahead and get on now. Let's go ahead and go back to my list here and close out a couple of these. So we have, again, 20 games here that I listed. I've mentioned 4 of them that have made my top, or my number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5 games of 2016. And I want to go ahead and give a couple of honorable mentions here to some games here on this list because so many of these games are so good, and making a decision on putting these games in my top 5. And again, remember, all these games are indie games. All these games are made probably by developers who have poured their heart and soul out into these games. A lot of these games are made by single developers, you know, that have maybe only sold a handful of their games. My number 1 is certainly a game that has sold a hell of a lot more than a handful. They've done pretty well. And that game is Stardew Valley as my number 1. But honorable mentions, I want to go ahead and give a big shout out to Fragmented. If you're looking for an Unreal World 4 engine game that has awesome graphics, an online survival game, definitely check out Fragmented. March of Living is a good game. Catch a Falling Star if you're looking for a fun, casual game that you can score for 99 cents on Steam, where you're catching stars with a falling basket. This game is awesome.
I still say that guy's leaving money on the table.
Yeah, I think he's underpriced in that game at 99 cents. That's a hell of a fun game for 99 cents. I mean, it's just a leisurely game where you're catching stars falling out of the sky, but it's got enough. It speeds up and gets harder as you go on, and it can be very challenging as you go further on. And trying to get your name on the high score list is a very big challenge for a small casual game. 99 cents, catch a falling star. Probably my biggest shout out for a an honorable mention going to Catch a Falling Star. So let's go ahead and talk about my number 1 game of the year. That is Stardew Valley. It's kind of funny to me that I put in Zaxter99, my first keyword, Stardew Valley in the search, and the first one that comes up, or one of the first ones that comes up before mine, is Markiplier. How does that work? Did he put Zaxter99 in his name to get up there above me? I don't know how this works, but anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the gameplay that I recorded for Stardew Valley. Now, tons of YouTubers have made tons of content on this game, and the reason for that is because it is an outstanding RPG, classic RPG game where you go in, you create a character. If any of you guys have loved the, what's the name of the game, the big classic Harvest Moon games, then this game is going to be right up your alley. Harvest Moon, on the Nintendo, the PlayStation, really popular game. But I mean, it doesn't have the best graphics again in the game, again in the world, but it has a big amount of depth. You can do anything in here from collecting resources to building a house to going dungeon stomping to fishing to completing quests to talking to people to interacting. Has a lot of little stories that you can play out with different characters in the game. And there are literally hundreds of hours of game time to be had in Stardew Valley. So any of you classic RPG fans that looking for a good RPG that you can just sink yourself into without over-complex kind of gameplay, just pretty simple, click and move your character around the world and explore the world and have a lot of fun. Stardew Valley coming in at only $14.99 US is a hell of a deal, and the price tag and the amount of complex gameplay and fun to be had with Stardew Valley is what made it my number 1 pick for the first half of 2016 for an indie game. And if you want to see more video, definitely check out the links in Kage's description for this video, or head to any of the other big YouTubers' channels like Markiplier, who has gameplay as well. So that is my number 1 of 2016 so far. Will it make my number 1 of 2016 for the full year? That'll still be determined.
Now we'll see what happens in the post-game show.